Everyone, and thank you for coming out to the press conference here in the city of Aurora today. Your speakers will be in the following order. First, we'll begin with Aurora Police Chief Keith Cross, followed by Kane County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser, and then concluding with Aurora Mayor Richard Irvin. They are joined here today by Kane County Coroner Dr. Monica Silva. Chief Cross.
Good afternoon. I'm Aurora Police Chief Keith Cross, and I'm joined here by Mayor Richard Irvin and Kane County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser. The purpose of today's briefing is to provide some of the initial details related to the officer-involved shooting that occurred this morning in our city. Before I do this, I'd like to say that this is a very difficult situation for everyone involved. My thoughts are with the Aurora police officers who were forced to make a very difficult decision that resulted in the loss of life. Regardless of the circumstances, any loss of life is tragic, and I'd like to extend my deepest condolences to the family and friends of the deceased. When incidents like these occur, we know it's the entire community that is affected, and we appreciate your patience and support throughout this process. As you know, this is extremely early in the investigation. Please understand that there are certain details and specific evidence that we cannot release at this time. We will be transparent throughout this process and are committed to providing videos, images, and other pertinent information to the community as the investigation allows. On Wednesday, March 19th at 1:30 a.m., Aurora police officers responded to a mutual aid request attempting to locate a person wanted in connection with an aggravated battery to a Geneva police officer. According to a release from the Geneva Police Department, the officer was investigating a suspicious vehicle when the officer was dragged a short distance by the vehicle, resulting in serious injuries to the officer. Fortunately, the officer is in stable condition, but will undergo surgery for their injuries. Geneva Police provided our agency with the license plate number of the suspect vehicle and a description of the offender. Around 1:41 a.m., officers located the same vehicle traveling southbound on Lake Street near Galena Boulevard. Officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop on the vehicle, but the driver refused to stop. Aurora Police initiated a pursuit of the vehicle and were joined by members of the Kane County Sheriff's Office. Aurora police officers successfully deployed stop sticks as the vehicle traveled northbound on Route 25 near Ashland Avenue. The vehicle came to a stop a short distance later. As Aurora police officers attempted to contact the driver displayed a weapon, and the two Aurora police officers discharged their firearms at the driver. This resulted in the driver being struck by gunfire. Officers from the Aurora Police Department, as well as deputies from the Kane County Sheriff's Office, then rendered aid to the individual until he was transported to a local hospital by Aurora Fire paramedics. The individual was pronounced deceased a short time later. A weapon was recovered at the scene. An investigation into the officer's actions is being conducted by the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force. Both officers involved in the shooting, as well as a third officer who was present during the shooting, have been placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure for officer-involved shootings. We would like to thank the Kane County Sheriff's Office, Kendall County Sheriff's Office, the Montgomery Police Department, and Aurora Emergency Management Agency for assistance provided throughout the incident. I'd now like to hand it over to Kane County State's Attorney, Jamie Mosser.
Good afternoon. I'm here to explain the process that will go on as a result of the officer-involved death that occurred this morning. Pursuant to the Illinois Police and Community Relations Improvement Act, there is a process in place when incidents such as this occur. This morning's event is being investigated by the Major County, as the chief said, the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force. This task force is comprised of experienced law enforcement throughout the entirety of Kane County, but pursuant to the task force's procedures, no Aurora police officers will be a part of that independent investigation. Once complete, the task force will submit their findings to my office. I will then review that along with all of the evidence in whether or not there's a determination of the officers' actions and whether they were justified under Illinois law. It is important to note that this investigation will take time, potentially several months. Every officer involved investigation that has something to do with a death must be examined carefully. The level of scrutiny that we do on these cases helps to maintain the public's trust in law enforcement and ensures the civil rights of all individuals are protected and that justice is done. As a part of the ongoing investigation, we will not be releasing the body-worn camera footage of the incident at this time. There are two reasons for this. The first is to protect the integrity of the investigation, and the second is because Illinois law mandates, and this is specifically under the Safety Act, that any officer that's involved in a shooting such as this cannot view his or her footage prior to either giving a statement or making a police report about what happened. At this time, the Major Crimes Task Force will wait a minimum of 72 hours till they attempt to interview any of the officers that were involved in this, and thus the video cannot be released at this time, but as the investigation permits, we will do so at some point later. I would like to thank the Geneva Police Department and the Aurora Police Department for their cooperation in this process and the transparency they've shown throughout this investigation so far. I ask that we all allow this ongoing investigation to proceed without any interference. I want to end this by extending my thoughts and condolences to the family of the individual involved. While this is a tragic incident, it is something that our community together is going to suffer with that family. I would also like to echo the words of Chief Cross regarding the Aurora Police Department and the efforts that were made by the police officers. Thank you. I will now turn this over to Mayor Richard Irvin.
As we've just heard, or this morning, our community experienced a tragic incident that resulted in a loss of life. My prayers are with the family and loved ones of the individuals involved. Any loss of life is deeply concerning, and I recognize the impact this has on everyone in our community. I don't expect that when the officers involved prepared for their shift that day, they got ready, put on their uniforms, holstered their weapons, that those weapons would need to be drawn in the course of that day's duties. I don't expect that when those officers reported for work that evening, that they thought they would be put in a position for use of deadly force in response to the actions of another. Yet, because of the actions of another, and only that person's actions, did this circumstance occur that escalated to a level prompting officers to respond accordingly. And even still, the officers immediately rendered aid, but tragically, the individual succumbed to the injuries. As stated by our Kane County State's Attorney, standard protocol in such incidents is that the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force takes over the investigation to ensure a thorough, transparent, and independent review of the officer's actions. Aurora remains a safe and strong community because of our dedication of our law enforcement officers and the trust we continue to build between them and our residents. Our officers undergo rigorous professional training to handle crisis situations with skill, judgment, and a commitment to protecting lives. Their training ensures that they are prepared to respond while prioritizing safety for all involved. In my opinion, our Aurora police officers are the most well-trained, prepared, and professional police officers in our state, and arguably this entire country. I fully expect that the officers involved rightfully relied on that training, experience, and professionalism in this tragic situation, and appropriately acted to make sure our community is safe and that those officers made it home to their families. I have full confidence in the integrity of the Aurora Police Department, those brave officers involved, as well as the independent investigation process that will be that will bring clarity and accountability to this unfortunate incident.
Thank you to the chief, to the state's attorney, and to the mayor. We'll open it up for questions. You can just please announce your name and affiliation and ask the question.
Question for Chief Cross, Julian Cruz with WGN. Thank you all for holding this press conference today. Could you talk a little bit about, you said there was some effort to communicate with the driver before he displayed, he or she allegedly displayed the weapon. Could you talk about that? How was the communication? Was it via megaphone, or how much time was there to communicate with the individual?
As mentioned earlier, I can't go into too much detail about that. I can tell you that this all took place very rapidly, but I can't, because again of the ongoing nature of the investigation, I won't be able to provide you with specific details on that.
What kind of weapon? Was it a handgun? Was it a long gun? What did he display?
Again, I can't go into the specific details because we can't jeopardize the integrity of the investigation, and by giving out that information, it may do so.
Can you tell us an age or where he's from? Is he from the area?
That information hasn't been released as well. It's not.
What can you tell us about the officers? How long have they been working for the Aurora Police Department, their ages, things like that?
We're not releasing that information at this time.
It looked like the license plates on the car might have been covered. Is that something that the driver did, or is that something that your officers did in securing the scene?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The license plates on the driver's Honda looks like it may have been covered or something. Do you know anything about that?
I have no idea about those details. No.
So no age, no suspect, no sex, no hometown for the person who was driving.
Right, we're not releasing that information at this
And
time.
it's the same person that was in the Geneva incident.
We're pretty sure that we can connect those dots based upon the information that was given to us. And again, I understand everyone's desire to get details, but again, this is very fresh in the investigation. I mean, we're probably 12 or 13 hours after this incident happened. As soon as we can provide more details, I think it will fill in a lot of the blanks and a lot of the dots that you all are looking to fill in. But right now, we're very limited on what we can say.
Were Geneva police invited to this event, given that it started in their jurisdiction? Is there any more information you can give us about what happened there that kicked this all off?
Well, I know they have released a press release. I haven't read it, but I do know that they released a statement about what happened in their town.
For State's Attorney Masser, this Sue Sarkowskis, Daily Herald, you mentioned that the officers won't be interviewed for 72 hours.
Correct.
And why the 3 days?
So the 3 days is standard in a traumatic situation such as a shooting for the officers, because we want to be able to give them time to recover from what has happened, so that any statement, if given, is the best statement that can be given. And this is just something that we have done historically in policing to make sure that we understand the science of the brain and how trauma affects the brain.
Of the officers who were actually on the scene, were there only, of the 3 Aurora officers and the rest were, what's the total number of officers who were on the scene? And then was it just the 3 Aurora officers who were involved, so to speak, and the rest were King County Sheriff's deputies?
Yes, the rest were King County Sheriff. I can't answer how many total were eventually there, but it had the 3 Aurora officers, and then King County was assisting them with the stop.
And Geneva wasn't involved in any of this at all?
No, Geneva was just in the beginning, put out a request for mutual assistance, gave out the information about the car. The car was then located by the Aurora Police Department, and it was just Aurora and County at that point that were stopping the vehicle.
Have you all had any prior contact with this individual?
That's not information we can give out at this time.
Did the driver own that car? Or is there any belief that that car might be used in other crimes?
More information, I'm sorry, we can't give out. It's a part of the investigation.
What kind of vehicle was it?
That's not even an answer I know, but we also probably couldn't give it out, Sue.
Do we know how many shots were fired?
We do not at this time.
Did the suspect fire any shots?
I think that was the same question. That's a part of the ongoing investigation, so we can't release that information either.
Any final questions from the media? Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you.
you.